Like if you really want to like make money, don't get into coffee. And then at one point I was like, well, maybe I should, you know, open my own cafe, and I was
and massive associations between coffee and reduced risk of certain types of cancer like skin cancer, endometrial cancer, liver cancer.
This will be a smoother cup of coffee, and all around you're looking for balance. So in most roasts, medium would be the one.
What ultimately happened is I ended up taking a one-day espresso class 4 years ago, probably, at a roaster class.
Positive, change for the producers in that community. We're seeing, for the first time.
Okay. Or maybe 2 more minutes? Or maybe do you want just a minute at a time?
But do not use these in a super automatic like Seiko, DeLonghi, Jura, all those.
And good for a standalone grinder because you can clean.
10, 15 minutes. Come on back. We're going to pause. We'll come back when we get to the first crack, and there's 2 cracks. We'll see you in a little bit.
For roasting, make notes on that, maybe adjust a roast or re-roast something if I didn't think it was up to par. Cup coffee.
Have issues with their equipment and their espresso machines. I talked to the people that are doing sales, what new accounts, do we have any?
Our blonde lineup, which was Veranda and Willow. Is it true that lighter roasted coffees have more caffeine?
Just sort of doing iron, which I totally could have. It wouldn't last as long when you're roasting, and it would probably start to age pretty quickly.
Here's my blower box.
Next thing you're going to do, you want to put the turbo oven on.
Too dark, it loses flavor, it loses body. Don't roast it enough, those flavors don't deliver and they don't develop. So it's a very complicated process.
Abused a little bit by a lot of cafes. It's sort of used as an adjective like great coffee or, artisan.
For example, if the coffee is a light, floral kind of coffee, we want to...
in your coffee grinder. So here's some photos of the stones I've collected over the last 6 months. Yeah, there's a nail. Wouldn't want that in your...
Propane, I have yet to see what it looks like on natural gas.
Pretty quickly.
All right, so we are pretty close. And I can also smell kind of a wet grass smell coming out of the exhaust on the roaster, which indicates that we're... And I can also smell kind of a wet grass smell coming out of the exhaust on the roaster, which indicates that we're...
Forevermore, you are all I long for, all I worship. And
wine tasting, a beer tasting. We're looking for the same things you are. We're looking for what are the flavor notes. Think of it like an inverted whistle, like...
I've got a 10-pound capacity bean cooler, so it's cooling a lot faster. And on the back of that,
we're hand roasting everything, meaning that nothing's automated on the machine. There's a lot that...
The beans go into the top of the roaster, fall down a chute. Obviously, as soon as the beans go in, they're cold, so that brings the...
Pressing a button for first crack as we begin to hear it.
As well as remove the remaining excess chaff. We then transferred our cooled beans to a zip-top bag, being sure to remove all extra more French roast as a result of the roasting process accelerating more quickly than we expected. And a second batch when we
using the variable speed fan on the Gießen, and it provided some really awesome results, so we knew we wanted something that had a variable speed fan.
Thermal integrity, or at least make that thermal integrity consistent. Every time I drop a batch, I'll set the burner back to the exact same point. Generally, it's as low as I can make it.
That would be super sweet. Again, I'm just really pumped, and I just can't help myself right now, you know what I'm saying? So
type of materials used, but also the design and how it functions in the roasting process itself.
5 minutes for the cool down cycle, so it's really a 20-minute roast here with a 5-minute cool down, and we can hit cool down. A nice coffee to branch into is a Guatemalan coffee. They can vary from very strong acidity to mild, your Konas, your Jamaica Blue Mountain, and a Yemen. Yemen's the first place where coffee was commercially produced.
The unique selling point is definitely the overall package. The fact that we roast our coffees and really passionately and
Turn around, but it's really hot. This might be a better way to go about it. The flume here is actually really cool to touch. So is the bottom.
Has some vents on the top, which is similar to the other models. Has a kind of nice handle, so if you're going to carry it around, you can balance it. And this just pushes back. Close your door. Make sure it's nice and sealed.
Ya kan udah cenderung lebih ke gelap ya, karena tujuannya embrio ada di sini untuk melindungi.
So that they match measurements that I would see on my production roaster. If you don't need to do that, you wouldn't hide this channel.
Since I apparently forgot to
Turn your gas off over there.
Down?
Yep. Bring that airflow all the way back towards you. Perfect.
Now we plus roast, where caramelization continues, oils migrate, and the bean expands in size. This would be a good place to end the roast.
Di monorigi che possono variare dal Jamaica Blue Mountain a un Pergamino Sudaminas, a un Ethiopic Sidamo, a dei caffè.
Seriously, a few seconds. But here's where things get really cool. During the roasting process, water is forced out of the bean, which then...
Any specific coffee bean with the surface of the drum. We want to maintain a consistent and relatively fast bean movement to help even...
Oily, so I may add a few seconds to it just to darken them up nice.
Number 7 is Daybreak. 8 is Islands Espresso. And number 9 is Organic Italian Roast.
to get a proper reading on that way. So very important test, and one thing which almost never gets done by a small roaster.
And our beans look nice and they're browning up nicely, nothing's burning, and again, it's doing it all on.
Advantage or something, so it's really good. I'm really happy about this competition. I really like it because it's the most.
Extract at the same rate than stuff on the edges is. So usually we'll start our pour at the 30-second mark.
He knows. He's a master. I think you're doing a great job. For me already, I think I would have messed it up. He's actually smelling the coffee as it's roasting in here.
Physical defects. So those physical defects will tell you something about how the coffee is going to taste and how it's going to roast.
We always want to roast
on the accessory blower, which will then heat up the beans and accelerate the roasting process.
Well, I did that already and it worked perfect. The roaster itself has, you know, the classic.
Specific. From that we develop more complexity, and with more complexity we get sort of heavier sort of flavour. Sort of 60 and 70 kilogram bags of coffee around the floor, but yeah, look, it's certainly very rewarding and it's very very challenging.
Let's take a look at some recent studies that have come out about the benefits of coffee, which there are many.
And get a maximum extraction.
Excellent.
So you kind of see it ballooning up, and that is called the bloom, and it's off gassing.
So
up top, very simple hopper, open, close.
Go there now and search for coffee roasters, or simply click beneath this video. Halfway up our list